I'm going to share the top worst 11 YouTube backpacking advice ideas that I've seen recently. There's a lot of good advice out there, but there are many bad ideas, and that's what I'm going to share in this video. Number 1, don't bring a headlamp. I've heard this from several YouTubers, and let me tell you, I'm going to turn it on there. A headlamp is what's called personal protection equipment. You need a headlamp unless you're literally in Alaska when it's daylight all night and all day, because simply in the dark you think, oh yeah, I'm just going to use my phone, I'm going to project it out. Let me tell you, that failed for me once. I was hearing some rustling and crashing through the shrubs, and I turned my phone on to light it up, and the shrub noise was past 10 feet away. My flashlight on my iPhone was useless. I mean, just totally didn't light it up. I turned it on, and oh my gosh. If I would have been smart and brought my headlamp, I would have been able to see exactly what I was into. Was this a deer, moose, elk, bear, raccoon? Who knows? That was a mistake. So definitely bring a headlamp because you need to protect yourself. Number 2, don't bring a knife. You just never need a knife. Let me tell you, there is no replacement for a knife in the wilderness. When you need a knife and you don't have a knife, you're going to wish you had a knife. Some YouTubers recommend carrying a big old multi-tool. That's nice. I mean, it's nice, but do I really need pliers unless I'm going to pull a tooth out there? No, so that's a lot of weight. You can drop, but not having a knife at all. I mean, this is my Spyderco super ultra light knife. Cuts through almost anything that I need to cut through. So if I need to get myself out of a jam, cut some rope, line, or whatever. I mean, just think about Aaron Ralston. If he didn't have his rusty, or not rusty, but dull pocket knife to cut his hand off, he'd be dead and he'd still be stuck in that canyon. So always bring a knife. That's an important 10 essential tool, including the headlamp. The next terrible advice that I've heard is don't bring a map and compass because you can just use your phone. Have you ever had your phone glitch on you, die on you? All of a sudden, your phone can't connect to the cellular system and your maps or whatever totally die? Yeah, a phone is not a reliable tool in the field, especially when it's cold. So always bring a paper map and a compass. No batteries. I can drop my map, I can drop my compass. I might break my compass, but chances are it'll still work. What happens when you bust your phone or the battery dies? The answer is, oh, just bring a battery bank. Now, how many battery banks are you going to bring, especially if it's cold? Maybe you forgot to charge your phone. So do not rely on your phone as your only item. I am in the Grovant Wilderness right now. I have my nice big map that I can read. The next terrible advice I've seen is buy one of these $50 mugs or titanium thermoses or water bottles. Holy schmoly. Now, I do a lot of adventuring, and you know what I bring? I just get like a 18 or 20 ounce bottle like this, and I drink the tea, and then this is what I use for my drinking water that I keep in my backpack, and I just slip it in the side right here. And when I'm walking along, I grab the bottle, drink out of it, and put it back. How do I do my water? I use Aqua Myra, and then I've got an extra liter bottle, and I just fill that up. It's just like a 75-cent bottle from Walmart, just basic soda water. And I drink the soda water, and that's what I use to do my filtering. In that 1 liter, I retank this, and then I do another liter, and that's how I do my water. You do not need some crazy expensive mug. Next is the bear spray. Some people will argue about this, and they'll say, oh, just yell, clap your hands, bring a Bluetooth speaker. I was just at the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center, and when I asked them, the staff there, about the speakers, they almost literally laughed. They stifled it. They were professional, said, look, bring the bear spray, have this ready, pull this out, spray it, and the chance of a negative encounter goes down by over 90%. The next worst advice I have ever heard on YouTube is don't bring a first aid kit. Oh, gosh. Okay, yes, a first aid kit has weight. Absolutely, it weighs something. What happens when you shred your heel or your Achilles in your shoes and you're hiking along and all of a sudden you get a big old blister? What are you gonna do about that? Hobble along as blood seeping through your socks? No way. I bring lots of Band-Aids because my feet can get torn up in an unexpected moment. I have a little sewing kit in there. I've got micro tweezers. I've got nail clippers. I've got cuticle clippers because sometimes I've kind of had to work on myself. I've got some other tweezers in there. I bring as much of a one-person first aid kit as I can possibly bring. Do note, cheap first aid kits like this, they're cheap. The only reason I buy this is for the gauze pads in the container. I use tough skin Band-Aids or tough strip Band-Aids. They're the best. Next terrible advice, following the bear thing, is saying, no, don't bring a bear canister. Just bring a bag and hang it in the tree. Ha 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 ha. Okay, you may luck out for years and years. And then one time you use a sock or you use your bear bag and you throw it over the tree and you hang it, and then it gets hung up on the tree and you cannot get that bag down. Cannot. What are you gonna do? You're gonna starve. If you are in an area that is required for bear cans like Yosemite, Kings Canyon, Sequoia, Grand Teton, all these areas, you have to have a bear can anyway. You might as well just get one. In areas that do not have bear requirements, but there are highly active bears, you try to do the tree thing, just be aware you could have a lot of problems. Now, if you're a long distance hiker and you need a bigger bear can, you're gonna need to bring that. Yes, this is 3 pounds, but I can put my food in there, put it 100 yards away, and not worry about it. And the bear toss it around. I've had bears toss them around, and then I come to my food in the morning and I'm all good. So this is a specialty thing. The next thing I've heard, bring a camp chair. Like, really? Now granted, this is a huge camp chair you wouldn't probably backpack with. I'm not going to put that on my backpack, but I've seen so many people with camp chairs in the wilderness carrying an extra 2 pounds. It's worth it. For me, it's not worth it. See what I'm sitting on? Just a foam Z-Rest. This is 2 ounces. I've seen the lightest camp chairs, maybe 11, but usually 2 pounds. Look, that extra 2 pounds sounds great until you're hauling that thing 20 miles and maybe you sit for an hour. Trust me, it's not worth the weight. This is an interesting point. I've seen some YouTubers suggest that you use hand sanitizer to clean yourself up. Let's say you're smelling pretty bad under the arms. Use hand sanitizer, rub that in, start rubbing in there to kill the bacteria. Yes, it will kill the bacteria, but do be aware, a lot of people's skin under here is very sensitive, and using this high power alcohol, hand sanitizer can literally burn your skin off. Then you'll get raw chafing. So do be very careful with that. This next tip I'm gonna get a lot of pushback for. If you are backpacking and you're going out and you don't do this very often, choose light duty boots over tennis shoes. Long distance backpackers will literally do the nuclear emoji. You should wear tennis shoes. That's the only thing you should wear. And I'm telling you, you're wrong, because most people who go out backpacking do this infrequently. They're not out there doing the Continental Divide, Pacific Crest, or Appalachian Trail. They're simply not. The people that watch my channel, they go out and they adventure a lot. Some go crazy and go long distance, but most people are going to do backpacking maybe once, twice, a few times a summer, and their feet aren't going to be trail hardened. And I used to use tennis shoes, but by the time I got to the second day, pushing into the third day, when I was reusing my trail runners, my feet were on fire. Every time I stepped on a rock, it would hurt. I would try and step on logs to press my arch up just to not hurt. If you only go out every so often, you're going to use tennies like every other YouTuber tells you, and then your feet are going to hurt. Then psychologically, you're going to say, this sucks. I don't want to do this. I have gotten home where the side of my shoe was slashed open and my foot was injured. With these, that never happens. Also, when I'm walking, sometimes I've lifted my heel up right here and clipped my ankle bone, and I've done that a couple times, and all of a sudden my opposite ankle bone is bleeding. The next really bad advice that I heard on YouTube recently is when you put your boots on, your shoes on, make sure you tie your laces as tight as you can. See, I've got the low gaiters on here. That is a mistake. I'll tell you why. And I've done other videos on this. If you over tightened your boots and you point your shoe out and you tighten that, that will put a lot of tension on your Achilles, and eventually you will injure your heel, you will injure your Achilles. Be very careful with that. What I personally do is if I know I'm headed up a hill for a long time, like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on what I'm doing, I actually pull my boot all the way back, loosen my laces, and walk very loose uphill, because that way I protect my Achilles from getting pulled. Then once I reach the pass or wherever I'm going, then I will actually take the time to tighten my shoelaces. That way as I'm going downhill, I don't get any toe bang, meaning toes hitting the end of my boot. So those are my top 11 just terrible ideas. This one's a little shaky for people on YouTube about backpacking. Please check out links below to the products I've talked about, and I'm not trying to push the product, I'm trying to make it so you can do better in the outdoors for less money and have more fun. Thanks for watching.